Hi. I just wanted to pop on here really quick and share a couple of random tidbits that help me when all of a sudden there's a sudden spike of chaos. And I don't mean like, when a busy season comes, something that you see happening, more like when life just throws you a curveball and either like in your home life or in your business, and usually, the two are kind of combined, everything just kind of goes nuts and goes wrong. Sorry. Oh, hey, Joy. Hi. And then I can see your comments. So you can talk to me if you want, but I'll try to stay focused so that you can watch this really quick. All right. So now, first of all, I have to say, it's not like I always do this or even like mostly always get it right, but it's something that I'm learning. And the better I get at it, it makes a really, really big difference. So I'm going to talk about life first and then business, even though there's some overlap between the two. And it's just 3 for each. Okay. So let's say all hell breaks loose. My kids are making me insane as much as I love them. Like, this is a hard season right now, y'all. It's hard. It's been hard. It's like being in a pressure cooker, but your whole life is just like mashed in there, And sometimes just like everything that could go wrong can go wrong. And I can feel myself, like I'm getting better at recognizing it, but I just get more and more tense. And all of a sudden, like things are flying out of my mouth that I didn't mean to say, or I'm literally like wanting to like grab children by the shoulders and be like, what are you thinking? And like, you get into that space. Please tell me it's not just me. Hi, Stacy. I see you. Hopefully I'm not the only mom that has these moments. But what will happen is like there will be chaos in one spot, this like sudden like explosion of all hell breaking loose. And then maybe I handle, those are the ones that are like easier to recognize because it's very obvious when all hell is breaking loose. But then, somebody else, like a child that has nothing to do with it, interacts with you. And that's when you like snap, so you can feel yourself just like, hi, Lexi. Sorry, my dog just ran in. Recognizing when I'm starting to react instead of respond, like I can feel myself like spazzing like that. Recognizing the difference in the feeling between when, in spite of everything being chaotic and crazy, I'm responding to what's happening versus just like flinging out responses. Joyanne, it's not just me. Okay, that's a relief. The first step is, learning to like recognize when you're in it, which is the hardest, I think, and what I'm working on the most. But once I do recognize I'm not losing it exactly, but I'm not the self I want to be in this moment. So I'm going to consciously choose that like minute by minute right here, I'm going to respond and not react to whatever comes out of the small person's mouth or whatever is in the mail I'm just opening. Like I'm going to respond, not react. So that's the first thing. It's probably the hardest, but I see the most immediate fruit from starting to do that. Stacy, I say that. Yeah. I just had to do that this morning. And I think that's the best thing. And I should have built in another, and that is have grace for ourselves. And then, yes, I feel you, Joyanne. But this morning I completely, and it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. She wasn't supposed to be up anyways. This is the time that like I get to like focus on what I want to focus on. And instead I was parenting far earlier than I expected. And I love her, but she wanted me to butter her toast and she's 9. And I'm like, darling, you can butter your own toast. Finally, I'm like, fine, I will butter the toast. No, that's right. I was like, no, you can do it. You're 9. But then there was no butter. And her brother was like, oh, I see the wrapper and the knife. And I was like, why are you doing this just to be difficult? Like, that like reaction to what was supposed to be my moment to like catch up on stuff. And it wasn't. And it just like, it was also, and I said it in like kind of an ugly way. Like it was not okay. And then I go over there and I was completely wrong. She wasn't doing it to be difficult at all. There really was no butter. She really can't get it out of the fridge herself yet. She's too small, and the step stool, it doesn't work with where the butter is. So I had to do what Stacy just said. And it's just like sucking it up and recognizing in that moment, like I was so wrong. I'm so sorry. You did not deserve that. Like, you don't deserve that. Even if she had been trying to be difficult, the truth is she didn't deserve that. So one thing that I've learned through many years of parenting, which I know if you don't know me very well, you're like, how many years of parenting did you have? It's like 20. Unless you add them all up, and then it's way more. But the moments where we flip out and we lose it, like with our kids, when we do apologize and take full responsibility and say that, like, we messed up and they didn't deserve that and that shouldn't have been. And you can let them own their piece if there was a part of it. But like, when we do that, it doesn't create the same kind of damage as when those things are brushed off or ignored. Like the deep wound that can come from a moment where a parent does or says something like that, it doesn't have the same like to them as when we do. Stacy, that's cracking me up. Hi, Janine. Hello. So that was just number one. Try to make the choice to step out of reaction, which means at first you have to be trying to see if you're in reaction instead of response. 2, breathe. Everything says this. Your Apple Watch tells you to breathe. The whole world tells you to breathe. Everybody tells you to breathe. And I always thought that was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard, because what the heck is breathing going to help me when I've got an actual situation here? Breathing does not change anything, except that it does. It's science. When you're taking a deep breath, you're communicating something to your brainstem. And see, what happens is your brainstem is there. It controls your like functions that keep you alive. The things that it's not asking your permission to do its job. It's keeping you alive, whether you like it or not. And if your brainstem perceives that you are in danger of like drowning, for instance, it will cut off higher functions to your brain, and you will literally like flail and you would drown somebody who was trying to save you, somebody very dear to you that was trying to save you, if your brainstem has cut off, all the higher functions. So that's like, it's science. Did we say that at the same time, Stacey? I think we did. But if you breathe, so because your brainstem cannot recognize whether the danger or the stress that you're under is literally like a matter of life and death physically, or if you're flipping out on the inside, flipping your shit, because it's a emotional thing, it's still going to be like cutting off higher function. So breathing, and that's part of how it's hard to get out of reaction and into response, has to do with the whole brainstem thing. Breathing literally tells your brain, oh, she's not drowning. That's air, that's oxygen. Breathing literally helps you be able to handle whatever hell is breaking loose, because your brain realizes that you're not dying. You may feel like you're dying, but your brain then knows you're not, and it then will let you access the parts of your brain that will let you respond and deal with things better and just feel a little bit better. Alcohol works too, but we frown upon that before 5 p.m. Actually, alcohol doesn't help that much. It actually makes it worse. But anyways, it was a funny joke. Okay, I love a good margarita. All right, number 3, when life is going crazy, take it to someone, like tell someone, but you've got to choose carefully. This is not the moment to vent to your friend who loves to hash and rehash everything from a negative place. Like, that's not the person to take it to. She might be part of your inner circle. The person to take it to is the person that is going to like acknowledge and be in that moment with you, and simultaneously they are going to like believe in you or pump you up or say that little thing that you need. So choose carefully. But the third way to deal with a sudden spike of all hell breaking loose in your personal life is take it to your circle. Just choose carefully. Also, by the way, if you have somebody in your inner circle who is an emotional vampire, you might want to start to move them towards the outer part of your circle and then into like the next layer of your circle. Just, word to the wise, I have found that's has a huge impact on all of the things in your life at all. So, that was a freebie. All right. So business, I'm going to go through 3 things that help. So I'm talking about when all hell is breaking loose in your business, because I know most of the people who pay any attention to me whatsoever happen to be entrepreneurial, or maybe you have an organization or ministry, or you have a side hustle, or you know, like it's relevant. But I did the first part first. So if you don't, you can peace out here. So the first thing is, again, I guess recognizing, I try to get off the hamster wheel that I'm on in that moment. So usually when things are the worst, like the most stressful, the most insane in my business, it's not the same as in my life. It's not like you can't hear it. You can, it's more that I feel it. I feel that stress. And usually I am dealing with it by operating kind of like a bad behavior. So for me, it looks like I will build something that I don't really need to be building right then. I like to make things, and I will realize I am dealing with stress or a chaos or like this thing that has happened by, instead of doing the things that I really should be doing, or even just walking away, I will bury myself in like making a pretty funnel page, or like building a thing that, yes, it's useful like over here, but that's not what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And I can sit there for hours and I can burn, because, you know, I'm a mom and I've got a family, and they're first. So I've only got like a certain amount of time, right? If I burn that on my hamster wheel of almost like self-soothing business action, if that makes any sense, then I literally like use up my time, and then I actually am making the situation worse, and I can find myself in like a really big hole. So I'm learning to recognize when I need to get off the hamster wheel, that what I'm really doing is I am overwhelmed by whatever that chaos is. And I have stretched forward into a new level or area, and I feel very uncomfortable. I'm so uncomfortable. I'm not used to operating like this. This is growth, and growth is hard. And so I want to go find my like comfort spot in my business, and I want to do that, and like I'll stay, and I make the whole thing worse. So like being like, I know what I'm doing right now. I am stress funneling. I am perfecting and reperfecting and like tweaking and changing the tiniest little things on a piece of a funnel that I don't actually need to be that perfect right now, because that's like my business martini. I am knocking back business drinks like crazy in this moment. Oh, somebody's saying smart things. I don't know what that was, but I'm going to Google it. Stacy knows that I talk about things that I don't actually know about all the time. and then she's like, this is actually like a real thing that you're talking about. It has like a name. Joanne was throwing them out. So I recognize the feeling inside when I am taking a business action out of self-soothing, like I get off the hamster wheel, and I recognize what I'm doing, and I think through what is actually going to move me forward in that area of stress or chaos that just like overwhelmed me in the moment. What's one? Don't think of the whole thing. What's one step I can take in this moment that will move me forward? Not busy work, but like what's just one? Take one baby step just a little further into maybe what that discomfort of the newness is. And somehow that just makes a difference, because I can be like, yeah, I took a step that mattered. I did one thing that mattered, and it just like makes me feel so much better. So I don't know if that helps you, but I guess. Ooh, I like that. Okay, I'm not the Stacey, I told you no more funneling. They've seen this as we're building out IEA. And I'm like, I was gonna spend the whole day working on this, and they're like, no. But I don't want to. No. Yeah, no more funneling there. Joanne, she gets stuck in low value tasks. Yes. Yes. Liesel does it too. You tweak, because it's more fun. It keeps me sane. It makes me feel like I'm doing something. I'm not actually getting anywhere. I'm making it worse. Stacy says lots of timers. That's true. That's a good one. Like where I'm like, I take one task. Like I do one that's going to move me forward. Like I can do anything for 10 minutes or even 5 minutes if it's that bad. That's so true. So good. Okay. Number 2 on the business one is the same as the first. Number 2 on life stuff. Again, breathe out of the brainstem, up into your higher thinking. I teach a whole thing on this. Actually, there's a free one on YouTube right now. It's still there for a little while. So you can check that out if you just search my name on YouTube. And it says something about levels of the brain. And I learned it all from Bob Hamp, who's brilliant. Go read everything he's ever written. It will change your life. He's genius. Anyways, side note. And this, I didn't plan that. This is just there because I go back to this book over and over and over. That was completely spontaneous. And he doesn't pay me for endorsements. I just endorse him because he's brilliant and amazing and like a really good human. All right. 3 is also the same as life. Take it to a circle, a business circle. And the reason I say this, you might have great friends in your life. You might have a wonderful spouse, best person ever. But when it comes to chaos and stress that's in your business, and if you're an entrepreneur talking to people that love you and they want to support you, but they genuinely do not understand or think like an entrepreneur, it might not be super helpful, because you might need to actually be told, like, you can do this, push forward, you've got this, you're just uncomfortable, you're gonna get comfortable here. It's like stretching, you know, it sucks at first, but then you get to a place where that becomes your normal and you're gonna be okay. But to somebody that you know, and sometimes that's, you know, not good advice, but you just need people who can evaluate. But if they don't have any like business or maybe solopreneur or entrepreneurial leanings or understanding at all, when they hear you talk about like this moment or what you're dealing with or what happened, their advice could actually be kind of destructive and make you feel like everything about the core of who you are is wrong because it will be so foreign to them. And it's not their fault, in the same way that they probably can't understand why the thought of going to a cubicle every day makes you want to die. That's okay. Like, you can get that, like, there is absolutely nothing wrong with being fine working for somebody and doing that. It has meaning and value. And thank God that there are people that love that, because the world could not function full of just a bunch of us, right? What would even happen? What would even happen? Can you imagine if the whole world was just like crazy entrepreneurial minds? Like, God help us all, right? In the same way, they don't always get us, okay? So take it to a business circle. Hi, Terry. Yay, can Monday be here already? I know, right? I'm so excited. Sorry, I got off my track because I was so excited to see Terry and Leslie. I see all you guys. So take it to your business circle, bounce it off, make sure they're positive, make sure they're the people that really, like, my business. I have a couple. I'm so lucky. I live such a richly full life in that way, but it's because I built them consciously. Like, I connected and I choose really carefully. That's a whole teaching that I need to build into IEA, and that is like developing and cultivating your circles and the way they move outward, so that not everybody's in your inner circle or even the next one, but you freely invite people into like the ring of your, anyways, that's a whole different thing. But I have a need to have people that will tell me. I went live on my personal page yesterday, and I was like, you have to have people who will tell you when the things that they know you already know, but you need to hear in that moment. They'll tell you when you're making things too complicated for yourself. Leslie just we were working through a rewards system and like an accountability thing for the academy, and she was like, okay. Like, I was like, and for 3 you can turn in these, or like 5 you can do this, and then she was like, no, like, we're getting way complicated. And I was like, okay, I do this a lot. I have complication bias. And then 3 that will tell you like when you're already enough and you're beating up on yourself, but you're actually okay. So those are my tips and tricks for dealing with when all hell breaks loose in either your life or your business, and how I handle it when I handle it well. And it's not like I do that always. Like, I don't even want to pretend for a second I've arrived, but I'm good and getting better, to quote LBB. And each time I do manage to either like breathe out of the brainstem or like stop and pump the brakes and realize what's happening there, like, I get better at it the next time. So I hope that's helpful for what it's worth. That's what's up. And I love you all. And yeah, have a good Friday. Peace out.